Hello there, Runniers. It's Manny again, and I'm going to be real brief with the introductions because we got a long video today because we're going to be going over the digital event guide for the 2025 marathon weekend. I went over it myself. It's pretty detailed. It's gotten more and more detailed, so we'll go over that. But before we do, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hit the notification bell because we do have some announcements coming up. So I'll go over those pretty quickly, but again, please subscribe to the channel, keep asking your questions, and let's go on. So first off, I'll just talk about it because many of you have been donating. I appreciate that donation, and I put the pictures at the very end. I'm going to go over these pictures right now. So you get to take pictures with Mickey and Minnie in their running outfits, which is super cool. They also give you a dinner. So this is what the dinner looks like. It's not elaborate, but it's pretty good. It's a little filling. And guess what? If you decide, hey, it's going to be a long journey, Mickey does comfort you because you're going to be running 26.2 miles. So it's for a good cause, and I really would recommend that anybody, even if it's not this one, volunteer, go and check it out, donate. Just donate time. But for this one, again, it's going to be January 10th. It's going to be at the Contemporary from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. and it's going to be the pasta dinner. So Mickey and Minnie will be there, and it's a $10. I'm just asking for a $10 donation for one ticket. Again, if you donate $20, I'm going to count that as two, and when I do the drawing, I'll put your name in twice. So that's going to be the drawing. Make sure that when you donate, you put marathon dinner. Thank you for the guys who have been doing that. So just put marathon dinner. I'm going to assume the ones that didn't, that they're also going to be in there. So because I know some of you are going, so I'm going to go ahead and put you guys in there. Remember, for every $10 donation, it's one ticket or one chance of doing it. Right now, the chances are pretty good for everybody. Don't have a lot of donations, but they're moving up. So thank you very much, and let's move on. So the next thing is, next week I will be at Disneyland. So I thought about doing a video because people are still asking, not just on this site, but on other sites, is where to stay, where, about walking distances. So I thought about making a video. It's going to take me a little bit of time, but I'm going to be staying really close to Disneyland. So I'll be able to record a couple of places where you can, points of reference, so you can see more or less what the distance is to walk towards Disneyland, and where the race is probably going to start. It's probably going to be starting at the same place from here on out. So with that said, comment down below if you have any hotels that you want to see, roughly how the walking distance are going to be. So if you're doing Disneyland, any of the Disneyland runs, or you signed up for the Halloween and going like, where should I stay? Please watch next week's video, because again, I'm going to do cross streets. I'm going to talk about everything that I can. I'm probably not going to cover everything because there's going to be hotels everywhere, but I'm going to try to talk about as many as I can. And but again, comment down below if there's a specific hotel you want me to check to see how close or not close it is as far as Disneyland is concerned. Now, without further ado, we're going to go ahead and talk about the digital event guide. So I'm just going to hand it over, and here we go. So here we go. We're going to be looking at the page. We're going to start off at the runDisney.com page. So from here, it's going to be very easy. You're going to look at the top where after it says Run Disney, the first thing it's going to say is events. You're going to click on that, and you're going to click on Walt Disney World Marathon. So you're going to be able to see this. Now on the top, you're going to see this bar. I'm going to put it up on top so you guys can see. And it's going to read runner information. You're going to click on that. Once you click on this, the official digital expo and event guide, and then it's going to say, the first sentence says the official digital expo and event guide is going to be in blue, highlighted in blue. You're going to click on that. So that's going to open up this page. So we're going to go here, and it's going to be a welcome from Adam Bell, Vice President of Wild Wilderness Sports, Run Disney, and Disney Water Parks. No wonder they push the water parks a lot, because the Vice President is involved in here. All right, so that's your welcome. So on the top, there's going to be a gray bar. Going to say welcome, weekend events, and digital expo. Digital expo is actually in the weekend events. We'll see that in a little bit, but let's click on weekend events. So we're going to go over this top here and just read it a little bit, and we're not going to read everything. We're not going to go over everything, and what we're going to do is whatever is repeated, we're just going to go ahead and skip it because we've already gone over it. So It's just going to say prepare for a vintage athletic with a nostalgic Disney twist in the 2025 Walt Disney World Marathon weekend. This is really, really cool. And if you look at them, they're pretty nostalgic and so forth and so on. So it goes over all the runs, everything. So let's start off. So you're going to see a grid like this. All right, we're going to start off one by one, and then there are going to be grids inside of those. So, and then there's going to be other stuff. So we'll go one by one. Important information. So this one's going to be right here. Top it's going to say event safety. So as always, safety is our top priority. So a lot of stuff that they do, a lot of the rules that they have are going to be because of safety. So the next one is going to be costume guidelines. You're going to see this throughout the expo. Now, costume guidelines, I'm going to go over a little bit more when they when we're going to have it's going to have a printout, so we're going to be able to see and read some stuff on there. But again, if you want to see this, you're going to click on this video. You're going to be able to see what they're going to say. All right, so we're going to start off with weather warning system. So this one's going to be very self-explanatory. If you haven't seen it already, if you've done the runs before, you've seen this. Once they get to black, they're not going to do any of the runs. High, they're going to actually slow it down, maybe cut the course. Yellow, they're just going to warn you over and over and over. Most of the time we run, it's green, and so that's fine. But they do have it as soon as you get into the staging area. When you get to the run, they're going to have that, so you'll be able to read it. And then of course you're going to get some push notifications if you have that. They're going to let you know, and of course it's going to be on the runDisney.com page. The next one is going to be the start group timelines. So it's going to give you an idea of when we're going to start, and it goes from 5. You're going to notice that 5K and 10K have groups A through F, and then the half marathon and the marathon are going to have G. So it's going to give you an idea when they start, and each one of the individual races will actually have this chart also. Event waivers. This is something you should have already done. If you have not done it, no worries, you don't have to do it, but it says complete your waiver today. It just saves you a couple of steps at the expo. If you haven't done it, you're going to be able to do it at the expo. If you haven't already done it, it's really, really easy. It's going to give you the step-by-step. You're going to go, a parent or a legal guardian will need to sign the waiver for anybody that is under 18, so you got to remember that. But all you're going to have to do is go into your runDisney account. I'm going to do this real quickly. Select view and sign your document. It's going to be really, really easy. Select it. You're going to view your document. It's going to be real easy. You're going to have to save it. Just make sure that you save it. If you don't save it, it's not going to go through. And then again, you're going to have to do it at the expo. So once you finish that, once you completed, you signed your waiver, download the email, copy yourself, and that'll give you your expo pass, expo check-in pass, which you're going to get. And it says right here, January 6th, so the Monday before the run, so a few days before the run, is when you're going to be able to check your account. You might even get an email. What you need the check-in pass for is to pick up your bib. If you're running multiple races, you're going to have to pick up your bib. There is 2 exceptions. Number 1, Goofy. Number 2 is Dopey. If you signed up for those races, so you signed up, let's say Goofy, so you signed up for the Goofy Challenge, you're only going to have to sign it once. If you signed up separately for the half and the full, so you didn't sign up for Goofy officially, you signed up for the half one day, and you signed up for later on you decided to sign up for the full, you signed those, then you're going to need 2. So make sure that you get those, and again, it's going to be a different place where you're going to pick up your bib for each one of those. Alrighty, so I kind of accidentally went here. So event waivers and check-in pass. Costume guidelines. So now we're going to get to the costume guidelines. It's going to have a little bit more stuff, more information here. If you're running with a costume, I really, really would recommend that you read this, because I don't ever want anybody to show up for the run and say, darn it, man, I didn't read this, and I spent all this time and money, and you get all excited, and then you can't wear it for whatever reason. So to me, it's just really, really easy. It can't be very bulky. It can't stick out. It can't have anything that's going to hurt people. And we'll touch some of these right here. Costumes must be family friendly and may not be obstructive, offensive, objectionable, or violent. Anything that's going to cause any kind of negative connotation, I wouldn't do. You dress up something like, face paint stuff with Olaf or something like that. That's fine. But there's other ones that you can't do. But again, I'm gonna push this one to Disney. So if you have any questions about it, make sure that you ask Disney. Participants 14 or older may not wear costume masks of any kind. 13 or younger can wear masks, but their eyes must be visible, and it can't cover your and it can't cover your entire face. So you cannot pose with pictures or sign autographs. That's kind of iffy. I've taken pictures with people who look really cool. So costumes may not drag on the ground. Costumes may not contain sharp objects, pointed objects, materials, accidentally strike another participant. That's the worst thing you want to do. Don't want to hurt anybody. I know you want to look good, but please, please, please. And it's not, a lot of times it's not your fault. You got to turn and you're going to hit somebody. So it's not a good thing. So you cannot have any weapons or anything that resembles a weapon. Layered costumes such as ball gowns, hoop skirts, those that have infrastructure with metal components, hard edges, costumes that do not allow the natural contour of the human body are prohibited. Anything, again, it's sweatshirts and stuff are, unless they're dragging on the ground. Large props, you're going to have to, you're going to have to get that okay from Disney. That's not anything that I can say yes or whatever. Small inflatable bodies, and I'm just gonna do this. Theme t-shirts, blouses, sweatshirts, and hats are acceptable. So this is fine. You're gonna be able to do that. So, and this is the important one. The very end. Participants who do not adhere to these guidelines may be refused entry into and or removed from a Run Disney event unless their costume can be modified and meet those standards. So make sure that you get a clearance from Disney if you really have questions about that. Just because I don't want you not to have that fun, but I also understand what Disney is trying to do here. And a lot of times we're just paying the sins of what somebody else did in the past. And so we're going to go over the event reminders. So the first one's very, and it goes by paragraph. Just make sure that you're healthy enough to be able to run this and stuff. A lot of times you don't know and something might come out. But again, do whatever you can to know that you're healthy enough. All athletes, guests, costumes, bags are subject to screening as you enter, so they're going to be able to check it. So that's it. Per Run Disney safety reminders section, okay. Everyone's safety, selfie sticks, baby joggers, strollers, baby carriers, backpacks, skates, scooters, bicycles, skateboards, and animals of any kind are prohibited on the course. The staging areas, violators will be removed. From my understanding, is the only one that is allowed is going to be animals that the support animals that and you're going to have to get with Disney on that one too. I love seeing animals on the course. I just don't ever want to see them hurt. So that's it. Any children under the race age requirement. So for the 5K, it's 5 and over. So if they're 4, they cannot be on there. And guys, don't do that because then people will start trying to get away with it. Then someone's going to post on social media, well, I got away with it. And then, I'll hoop. And then there's going to be more restrictions. So the more that you try to get away with it, the more that you try to break the rules, the more restrictions you're going to put on the rest of us. So all participants must expend the expo in the days prior to the race. But it's one day before your race. So if you're running the 5K, you're going to have to get there on a Wednesday. You're going to have to pick it up. And so you're going to have your valid ID to get your check-in pass and pick up your race bib, okay? But this is a 5-day event, 4 days of running. So there's going to be 4 days of expo days. Go make sure you get there the day before. Is there emergency pickup? I'm going to say it now. Yes, there usually is, but they don't advertise it. So think about it this way. If at any time they can take that away, and now I see more and more people taking advantage of it and just getting there later and later and later. If they get to a large amount, they're probably just going to say the heck with it. We're not going to do this anymore. And it's going to take away the people that actually need that. So with the people that got delayed that night and they couldn't get, or that day, they couldn't get there till really late at night and stuff. But again, don't do that and make everybody else suffer. So for drivers, all athletes and spectators must park at Epcot. For resort guests, we're going to go over the transportation. We'll start the race group, so A, B, C, D, and E. You are not going to get that until you get your bib. So you can speculate as much as you want. You're not going to know till you get your bib. And so race bib and start groups. Again, you got to show it. So you got to be able to see it. It says here, clearly visible, unaltered, unmodified, do not fold. Yeah, do not try to make a copy either. You will get banned. Pinned on all four corners, and do not cover it. So if you're going to have something that's, because you're cold and stuff, practice before, so that way you can basically layer it. A lot of people put it on their shorts or on their jogging pants, whatever it is, so that way, if you're going to donate something, take it off as quickly as possible, because that's something that people do. Participant witness with their bib number, they is seen without their bib number while running a course, they will be removed. It has happened before. So the letter on your bib will determine your assigned start group. Start groups are assigned based on proof of time, so I won't get into that. No start group changes will be made at the runDisney Expo. So if you feel like, man, I got to get in a better corral and stuff, they're probably not going to do it. You can ask, just don't expect them to change it. So emergency contact, make sure that you get that. And they give you a couple places that you can actually, number one is when you're signing, when you're registering, and then you can put it on the bib too. That'll make it a lot faster for emergency contacts. Participants must enter through the staging area within Epcot parking lot in order to access the start groups. Failure to do so may result in disqualification. They really have cut off everywhere else that you can come in from. It used to be viable that you could walk over from other resorts. I'm not going to get into that. But if you try doing that again, if they catch you, you can be banned. And so participants must complete the race within the 16-minute per mile pacing requirements established by runDisney. Now, I've always said this because it does talk about requirements are inclusive of taking pictures with characters, restroom breaks, and food and water stops. So I always said, they always tell you train at 15-minute pace. I always try to get you people to train at 13 or 14-minute pace, so that way they're better off prepared, because things happen, weather happens, rare characters, and you want to take the picture. So that happens. So the better prepared that you are now, the better prepared you're going to be there for the race. And so remember that. Another thing that people do is pause your Garmin. You're running and running and running. I got a good 13 and a half, 14-minute pace. I got to go to the restroom, so I pause my Garmin. And then I go in there, and then I come out and stuff. Again, during the runs, that doesn't matter. So what I always suggest to people, I said, you know what? You go get some water. You got to stop to tie your shoelace. You stop, whatever. Do not pause your Garmin. Keep going. So believe it or not, people do that. Flag guidelines. So this is going to be, I'm not going to go over a lot of this. There's not a lot of people that run with flags. I have seen quite a few. I have friends of mine who run with flags. 3 foot by 5 foot. What's it called? It can't be longer than 4 feet. The diameter is 4 inches. Pole must be made wood, plastic, PVC. No metal is allowed. And flag harnesses will be permitted if the participant bib is in covered harness or doesn't pose a safety hazard. No, don't swing it around. So that's it. So, all right. And if you have any questions, you can go back over here. Race day information. Gear bag check-in. This is going to be real easy. They're going to have gear bag check-in for every run. You're going to have that clear bag that they're going to give you your shirts in. And that's the bag that you got to use. So if you're gonna put everything in there. If you have another bag, you can put it in there. Okay. So make sure that you have it. You drop it off there. They're gonna go by your bib number. If you forget to pick it up, it says right here the last thing in the gear bag check is it's gonna be at the Epcot guest relations outside the park entrance. So food and beverage. There is going to be some stuff there for sale. If you want water, once you get into the corral area where they don't allow people with people with non-bibs, and so they will have free water stations there. So and it's the Dasani water, so you'll be able to drink that. The lost and found is just talking about how anything that's lost, especially if it's something that you need, Epcot guest relations desk outside the park entrance is going to be right there. Okay. Race etiquette. I am going to do a whole video on this. It's going to be more entailed than this. Their thing is very, very basic. The ones that stand out to me is please enter your correct start group. So you can always, if you're running with a friend of yours that is in corral C and you're in B, you can go back. You cannot go forward. So you both can start in C, or you can start in B and C. So that's the way it looks. So please enter your corral. Walk no more than 2 abreast. So, and then there's going to be some places where I actually say single file is going to be the best. And the reason is because it's narrow. But please, there's going to be places that are going to be really, really dense. It's going to be a lot of lanes, when we're going into Magic Kingdom. So there you can go 3 or 4. It's not going to make a huge difference unless it's really, really packed. But try to stay with the 2 next to each other, and that's it. If you need to walk in single file, it's not the worst thing in the world. I've done that before. So, if you're stopping water station, make sure that you get your water and then clear the table. So if you are running and you hear somebody say, excuse me, coming through on your left, they left that one out, or runner on your left, because usually walkers to the right, runners to the left. I've seen it before where people are just walking all the way across. So I try to get to the left and I'll just say on your left, on your left, on your left. And so you hear that, please move over. Just remember this. I see a lot of people complaining, why are the runners passing us up? Okay, they put us in the back. Sometimes they do that. I don't know the exact science behind it. All I know is sometimes they put us in the back. Sometimes I myself sometimes start in the back, but what's it called? Make sure that you just move over, and that's it. So feel free to do words of encouragement. Don't say anything nasty to anybody. Excuse me. We're all in this together, so it's going to be something that we need to be nice to each other, especially the marathon. You may see loved ones when you're approaching the finish line. You cannot get them to come in. Although I think in certain situations it's one of the coolest things. Just remember this: if they allow you, they're going to have to allow everybody else to do that too, and then it's really going to clog up the system, especially towards the end for all the runners who are trying to finish and they paid for it. So be considerate when it comes to that. If there is a circumstance that's beyond I've seen some of those, and so that's something that you got to go through runDisney. But that's not the best, because again, once you make one exception, you're going to have to make a lot of exceptions. So and then enjoy the race. Basically, that's it. Snack box. I like that they've done this. I'm just going to go over this real quick, but they're going to have water stations. The water stations are broken down right here. So the 5K has 1 water station. The 10K has 3. The half marathon has 8. And the full marathon has 18, and the half marathon and the full marathon have Powerade stations. They have a snack box too. They have food stops too. So 1 in the half marathon and 5 in the full marathon. And then of course they give you your banana. So this is actually cool. And if you click on the snack box, it's probably going to give you the nutritional facts. Just cool. Post-race information. So this is the one where I am going to click on here because the race results right here. Now it is sponsored is run by Track Shack Events. Track Shack Events, I've met the people there. They're great. They're fantastic. And this is where you're going to be able to, closer to the marathon, the race day, probably that Monday, the 6th, I would say, you're going to be able to log in there. You're going to be able to put your bib number. Well, that's when you're going to get your bib number. You're going to put it in, your information, your name, and you're going to be able to get tracked. And so they're going to have to go to this site. So if you have family or friends, this is where they're going to go to track you, okay? So, and at the beginning, they're going to be unofficial. They used to have it on social media where you could do Facebook. I know that you could also do text and then email, but they no longer do that. So I'm going to click off of this one, and we're going to go back. So, Photo Pass, this is going to be another important one right here, the Photo Pass race photos. So you're going to see at the very bottom. So you're going to have to either have like an annual pass or a ticket that has that with it, or you're going to have to buy the Photo Pass in order to get them. A lot of people, including myself, if you guys are interested, just reach out to me. We're raising money for charity, so if you make a donation, we do give you the Photo Pass as part of it. So and if you already have the Photo Pass and you've never done this before, on the bottom it's going to give you the 5K, the 10K, the half, and the full, and it's going to give you the information. So it's going to be 16 digits that you got to enter once you get into either My Disney Experience, the photos, or you can even go onto the website. You can do that. You're going to have to put the 11 digits. The last 5 are going to be your bib number. If your bib number is less than 5, the beginning number is going to be 0. But lately, I think they've all had 5 numbers. But for example, the 5K is 2025 WDWW K5K, and then the little X's are your bib number. Okay. Alrighty, Advent Healthcare. I'm not going to go over this a lot, but Advent Healthcare is the people that do all the medical tents and everything there. As a matter of fact, they have people there for at the expo. They have some cool stickers. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But this is people that help with the emergency. And the Minivan Connect. So this is going to be sponsored by Lyft. Again, if you're staying on property, they're going to pick you up. But if you decide you want to do the minivan, you can contact them through the app. And you can use them. Okay, so now we're going back. We're going to go to the Health and Fitness Expo. So right here at the top, it's going to give you the days. So it's going to give you the outline of what the schedule is. So day 1, day 2, day 3, and day 4. 4 days of Expo. Most of them are 3. This one, because it's a 5-day, it's the 4th day that they add for runs. So day 1 is going to start Wednesday, January 8th from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. So this is the longest day. The first day is usually the longest day that they have, but that's what they do. So anyways, so the other days are a little bit shorter. So if you notice, the Thursday and Friday are 12 to 7, and then the Saturday, the last one's 11 to 3. If you guys want to get some good pictures, just go there when there's going to be nobody there. The last day is usually the best for that. So it's up to you if you guys want to do that. Now, we scroll down, you're going to see virtual queue. So virtual queue, what do we need the virtual queue for? That's going to be for the first day, possibly other days, but it's usually only the first day of merchandise. So if we look at it here, is if you're going to go and you're going to purchase merchandise, we're going to see that in a little bit. So or you pre-purchase merchandise. If you pre-purchase merchandise, you're going to go to the same place. But if you're going to purchase merchandise, you're going to need a virtual queue for the first day. So it may not be the entire first day, but you will need that first day. And how do you get the virtual queue? The virtual queue is the same as it has been for Tron. I know that they just went away with that. I think Tiana's is about to go away or has gone away. And so far, Cosmic Rewind is the only one there. But if you go, you're going to have to download the My Disney Experience app. You're going to navigate. So there's going to be 3 bars on the bottom right-hand corner. When you click on that, it's going to give you a whole bunch of information. You're going to scroll down till it says Virtual Queue. It's not that far down. When you do that, on the top, it's going to give you the areas that have the virtual queue. So it would be Epcot, possibly Magic Kingdom, and then you're going to see ESPN Wildwood of Sports. So you're going to click on that. So this is going to be at 8:30 a.m. on January 8th that you were going to click on this. All right, so you can pick up to 6 people. Join the virtual queue, and you're going to add the people to your party. Make sure that you add the people individually to the party. They are each going to have their QR code, so make sure that they have that. If they don't have that, they cannot get in. So this answers the question, can my family go in? Yes, they can. You're just going to have to put them on My Disney Experience, select them, and they're going to have their own QR code. So once you're there, you're going to get your virtual queue. It's going to give you an ETA. It's going to update you. Usually closer to 10. It's going to, especially the first groups are going to go in there. They're going to check in. They're going to go to a holding area. Sometimes, depending on if Club Run Disney is out, then they can start going in a little bit earlier. But that's the way it works. So you'll receive a push notification just like you do. And again, you'll have your QR code, and you're going to have to show those QR code. Event waivers, we already went over that, but here it is again. Race bib and shirt pickup. So this one's going to be in 2 different locations. We're going to see that in a little bit where the 2 different locations are. So for the 5K and the Dopey Challenge, you're going to have to pick up by Wednesday. For the 10K, you're going to have to pick up Wednesday or Thursday. Half Marathon, Goofy Challenge, Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday. And just for the marathon, you're going to pick it up Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, or Saturday. So this is the days that you can pick it up. And of course, the shirt pickup is going to be in the same area. We'll go over that in a little bit. Actually, the maps are coming up. So Expo transportation, this is very simple. You're staying on property. You're not going to be driving. They run 30 minutes before and 30 minutes after. So for example, the first day is 10 to 8. So that means the shuttles usually start at about 9:30 and they finish off at 8:30. What does that mean for the new Club Run Disney or people who have done Club Run Disney before or new to this? You're going to probably have to take a lift. So I'm going to have to take a lift earlier to get in there. I'm not going to hit the mini lift because it's the same thing. So now we're going to look at the map of the Wild World of Sports Complex, and we're going to go in order. So A going up to B, going up to C. So A is basically where the parking lot, they drop you off, and you're going to be walking up towards A. That's the Advent Health Arena. This is where they're going to have the official Run Disney merchandise, pre-purchase commemorative items, distance, number, photo ops. So they're going to have photo ops there. That's where they're going to have 3.1, 6.2, 13.1, 26.2, and the Club Run Disney Platinum Headquarters, second level, which I'm not part of, so you don't get the free water. Darn it. All right. So, but it's kind of in a weird order because I'm going to go straight to C. So C is in the back towards the left, and that's the field house main floor. So that's where the race bib pickup is. And that's where they're going to have account services, runner relations, athletes with disability booth, character greetings. So there's going to be more picture ops there, and Disney Photo Pass and the waiver signings. So again, if you go there and you do not have your check-in pass, you're going to have to sign your waiver there. That's okay. And we're going to see there's going to be another map that's going to have where everything is. But as you saw, there's also going to be photo opportunities there. So there's usually some pretty cool characters there, especially the first couple of days. And there's usually just some settings where you're going to have to ask and make sure that they get a magic shot. The magic shot is where they add something, then you don't see it. They're just going to tell you to hold your hand out, do something, look at some area. And so they're going to add that. So now we're going to go back to B because that's where you're going to pick up your race shirts. And it says the Athletic Center race shirt pickup, event information and transportation, Run Disney Showcase, sponsors and exhibitor booths, and food and beverage. So I like to eat there. So whenever I get a chance, I do eat there. So let's go to the next one. So this is the Advent Health. So you're going to see, and it's not, it doesn't really show because in the outer the outer areas where you're actually going to be, there's going to be like a staging area. They got a whole big field where you do that. Will you have to wait in there long? Probably not. But especially early on, you might have to wait a little bit. But it's not that bad. And so let's go to the Athletic Center. So this is B. So it's a lower level. So if you notice on the left-hand side where it says Run Disney, you're going to see some white things on the top and the bottom. They look like stairs. They are stairs. You're going to have to walk down. And the shirts are in the back. You notice that if you're walking towards it, it says Dopey, Goofy, and Full Marathon shirts on one side, the 10K, 5K, and the half marathon on the other side. And they do have a shirt exchange in the back usually in case that you got the wrong size. But again, it's just if you got the wrong size, if there's something defective, you notice it and it's got, letters are coming off, something's going on and stuff. And the exhibitors are in the middle. So now let's go to the field house. So this is C. This is where you pick up your bibs. You're going to go into the lower level. So you climb. You're gonna enter in the upper level. You're going to go down some stairs. You're going to go into a holding area. Then you're going to go there. But as you can see, the way it looks is the Dopey is the biggest area. So it's going to have a big area for Dopey. So now you see this 5K is still a little bit big. So is a 10K. The half marathon and Goofy are a little smaller. And you can see where the game day photos are against the back wall. And so there's usually 3 or 4 and probably about at least 2 characters and maybe 2 photo ops. So you can check that out there. All right, so now we have gone over that. Now we're going to get into the races, and we're only 30 minutes in. So the 5K is going to be on Thursday at January 9th at 5 a.m. And it says 7:45. Official race time is going to be 5 a.m. So start group time. So we're going to go over these. This is the one that we saw, but it had all the groups. Now we're going to be able to see the start open, the start close, and the projected time. So for example, if you're in group D, you have it opens up at 3:45, so you can get into your corral at 3:45. The group will close at 5:10. So if you notice, just look at whatever one. So if, for example, D, you have to be in your corral at 5:10. If you get there at 5:11, it's closed, so you're going to have to get in E. If you argue, again, it's up to them, their discretion, and they're probably not going to do much. They're just going to tell you to get into your corral. But please be nice and understand that. So the projected start times is just what it is. It's projected start times. So it might not be exact. It depends on whether they start on time. If the weather is a little bit off, they might start even a little bit sooner. But everybody should be started on the 5K by 6:07. Spectator viewing. This one is going to be very easy for the next 2. For this one and the 10K, It's going to be the parking lots. So you're going to have to go there early enough, and you're going to be able to see them leave and see them coming back. So that's going to be it. But if you want any information, here it is. 5K spectators. So it's right here. So people will always ask, "What? I have people spectating. What should I do?" So resort transportation. So this is going to be all inclusive. So it's going to have all 4 runs here, and you're going to be able to see that for the 5K and the 10K, it's all shuttles. It's all buses. No matter if you're on the monorail or Skyliner or whatever it is. But Skyliner does not run during races. It does open up when the regular park hours open up. But monorail for the 5K and the 10K does not run. Again, just normal operating hours. But for the half marathon, it does run. And for the full marathon, it does run. Now remember this, and I'm going to say this, and once we get there, I'm going to talk about it again. But the full marathon starts at 4:30 this year. So it's going to start half an hour earlier. The rest of the races start at 5. So you're going to be able to see the corresponding times. And so it's going to say resorts to start line, what time they start picking you up, finish line to resorts. So it's going to be there. So let's say you get on the bus or try to get on the bus at 5:05. Good luck. You might not get a bus. So if especially on Thursday and Friday, on Saturday and Sunday, if you get there, you're not getting on a bus. So they're not going to let you, and they're not going to let anybody in. So you basically missed your race. It has happened before. So just accordingly, okay? Race etiquette, we've gone over that. Event reminders, we have already gone over this also. Okay. Now, event reminders, we're going to go over this one. So we've gone over when to pick up for drivers. We're going to be at Epcot for resort guests. Participants and spectators are strongly encouraged to arrive to Epcot parking lot each day no later than 4 a.m. for the 5K and the 10K and the half marathon, and no later than 3:30 for the marathon, because again, the starting. So about an hour before they try to get you to get there. You're going to have to go in through security checkpoint even if you're a spectator. Okay. And then it goes over a lot of the stuff that we've already gone over. So that's that. Snack box, we've already gone over this. We've gone over the photo pass. Let's go over the map. All right, start is going to be in the parking lot at Epcot, and we're going to run the first mile outside. Don't worry, there will be characters. There usually is going to be in there. Then we run in Epcot all the way to 3. We exit and we finish in front of Epcot, not too far from the start. And so that's basically the 5K. It's very simple. Usually this is the 5K that we go through. Now the map, the staging area, I'm going to have to do this. Okay, move it over here. This is going to be the same for every single run, so I'm just going to go over it once, and then I won't go over it anymore. On the left-hand side, you're going to see spectator viewing, start group, spectator viewing, and it's going to continue going to the reunion area, and then the post-event bus transportation, which is red. All right, so the start groups, if you notice in between, it's going to say bib check. In between there is from the reunion area to the start groups. Those is where they separate. So if you have family members who are there, they can't go through the bib check. You are going to go a little bit north, and then you're going to cut across to where it says spectator viewing. I've done it before. It's going to say entertainment, because guess what? They do have some characters there. Usually it's 4, 2 on one side of the stage, 2 on the other side of the stage. They usually start going away at a certain time, about a good half hour or 45 minutes before the run. They close the lines. They do all that stuff. So just remember that. But this is basically the staging area. Okay, the parking lots in case you're parking. And again, I'm going to go from left to right, and I'm going to start at the bottom where it says Good Neighbor bus pickup and then resort bus drop off. So if you are in another hotel, I always tell people this, because a lot of people will sit there going like, yeah, no other no hotels outside of Disney pick up people. I don't know. It happened to me a long time ago. One of my first races was about 15 years ago. But they did pick us up and for a charge and stuff. So ask, but that's where they would drop you off. Then next is the resort bus drop off. So that's the people that are staying on property. All the parking there, and then on the right hand side, you're going to see basically what we saw before, the staging area. The event entrance right there is where you're going to have to go through security. You're going to have to go through security. You cannot go anywhere if you don't go through security. All right, and the minivan is the same as before. All right, so now they're going to go a little bit faster. 10K is going to be January 10th, 5 a.m. to 8 a.m. We start at 5. Okay, start group time. So this one's going to be individual for that one too. But it's very similar. The only thing is projected start time, because they're probably going to be, I don't know if it's going to be a little bit more, but it's 6:10 instead of 6:07. The spectator viewing, basically the same. So we're going to start seeing the changes in the half marathon. Resort transportation, again, this is one of the ones that we've already gone over for the 10K, the same as the 5K basically. Just at the finish, they extended a little bit longer. Okay, race etiquette, event reminders, all this stuff we're going to skip, snack box, photo, pass. But let's go over the 10K course. We start in the same area. We're going to start basically all 4 runs in the same area. So we start in the parking lot. We're going to go across, back 1-2 miles. Then we finally enter Epcot at mile marker 3. We basically exit, go around the boardwalk, run around the boardwalk. You're going to see the water stops. Those are the big, the blue W's. And then the medical tent is the red, the red plus sign. So then we enter, we run through World Showcase and exit the front of Epcot. So this is a 10K, Chippendale. Alrighty, road closures. This is going to be important. I'm not going to go any over these, because if I did, I'd be here all day. So the red ones are just, the one thing I can't do, the red ones are going to be red roads that are completely closed. The blue is going to be modification. So you might have to go somewhere else. So if you are driving there and stuff, you're going to have to look at this map to figure out how to get there and how to get out. After a certain amount of time, and they have the times there, you can get in and out pretty quickly. But it's something, if you're driving or you have somebody that's driving, take a look at this. The staging area, the map lots, it's the same. So we're going to go to the half marathon. Half marathon is January 11th from 5 a.m. to 9:30 p.m. It starts at 5. So start group times are going to be a little bit different. And so because we added G. Now you notice that the projected start time is 6:06. They're trying to get people in as quickly as possible and getting them out as quickly as possible, because they have a park to run. That's what I understood, right? Spectator viewing. This is where it's going to start getting a little bit more interesting. I like this because it gives you the locations. So the locations is going to be Epcot, mile marker 4.5, mile marker 5.4, which is Magic Kingdom Park, Main Street, USA. And it's going to give you the times. Now, in the details section, it's going to basically give you ideas on how to get there. So you're going to have to basically, a lot of these ones, you're going to have to basically be at Epcot if you're going to be a spectator early in the morning. So you're going to have to piggyback from the spectator one, get there by 4. Then at this certain time, you're going to start going over so that you can go over and see your loved ones at Main Street USA, the Contemporary, the ticket transportation, so forth and so on. But again, I like the way that they've done it. This is progression because they've done it over the years. They've done better and better job. Every year they seem to be better and better when it comes to this. Okay, resort transportation, it's the same one that we've seen already. Race etiquette, event reminders, unofficial race results, all this stuff is the same. Let's go to the map. So now we're going to see where we start as usual. In Epcot, the parking lot, we're going to go mile marker 1, 2. We're going to run up towards Magic Kingdom, and we actually, most of the time we run underneath the Magic Kingdom parking lot and stuff. This is the difference this year. So you know how this crisscrosses. So usually we go to the right. This time we're going to the left. So we're run by the monorail resorts, the Magic Kingdom resorts on the left. We'll run by those first. Mile marker 5. Then we're going to go into Magic Kingdom. We enter through the front. So you can see right here where we enter through the front. We run less than a mile. Basically, it looks like a mile or so. Inside of Magic Kingdom, we exit over there by where Tron is, Space Mountain is. Then we exit 7. We run down. If you're fast enough, you're going to see the runners on the other side. if you're slow enough when you're running on mile marker 3 and stuff, you're going to see the people on the other side running. So you're going to run back, and we're going to go back into Epcot. We enter. You're going to see where we enter through the side of Spaceship Earth, run across, run out, and then we exit. We exit, and then we finish in front where it's going to be the finish line for all 4 races. So that's where we're going to finish. So let's move on. Road closures is going to be the one I'm going to show you. Excuse me, I'm going to show you because there's a lot more. You can see a lot more road closures. And they've added times, obviously. So so you're going to be able to see that the road closures won't last as long when it's in certain places, and then they're just going to adjust to the course, and so that's it. So very easy. We're going to go back, and we are going to go to the last one, the marathon. This one, like I said before, it now starts at 4:30. Okay, so January 12th, 4:30 to 12:30. So roughly is the rough estimate. But now you can see again, this is going to have the started projected times. We start at 4:30, and then we're projected to finish at about 5:27, or I should say not finish, but the last corral, the last starters should finish. The balloon ladies will start roughly about 5:27, 5:30. So about an hour after the first start. Spectator viewing, they're going to add some more because they're going to add Animal Kingdom, Hollywood Studios, a boardwalk. So you're going to be able to see more, but it's the same principle. So when you go, you're going to find out what you can do when you read the details. So make sure that you read the details so that way you know how you can support your runner, your family, whatever you're going to be cheering on. Okay, so resort transportation is the same one. Again, understand that the monorail will be running. So it starts at 2:30 and it ends at 4 a.m. So just make sure that you get to the race accordingly, because if you're going to be staying on the Magic Kingdom, you're going to have to go all the way to Epcot. Remember that. So race etiquette, event reminders, unofficial race results, snack box, and the photo pass are all going to be the same. So we're going to go straight over here to the map. So we're going to start the same place. We're going to run first couple miles outside of Epcot. Then we are going to run into World Showcase. And then we're going to exit 3. So it's only going to be about less than a mile, or about a mile in Epcot. Then we're going to exit, go 4, 5, 6. We're coming up. Remember these markers, water stations. There's going to be food. That's the F. And again, we're going to go to the left versus the right. So once we get out of Magic Kingdom, roughly, we're going to have a couple of miles before we hit, a little over a couple of miles before we hit the half marathon. Then we're going to be running towards Animal Kingdom. So this one, again, we used to run a little bit more. And so you can see where we enter. It's not going to be a lot in running into Animal Kingdom. It looks like we go in front of the Tree of Life. We run across. We exit. I don't think we run in Pandora, which has been a while since we ran in Pandora. But we basically go back and we exit the same way we entered, or we come around. So you're going to see runners on both sides. And a lot of times it's funny because if you fear, hey, how far am I ahead from the last Pacers? A lot of times if you're at about mile marker 18 going into 19, you might be able to see the last runners at 16. So, and I've done a whole bunch of stuff so I can see that. So then we got 20, 21. We basically go into Blizzard Beach. So we run across, we run that, man. Every time I get to mile marker 23, I always think to myself, man, this is going to be so cool because guess what? I only have a 5K to go. So then we go a little bit into Hollywood Studios, run the boardwalk, and then of course we run across. Is that right? Yeah, here we go. We enter and we run across the exit. So we run very little in Epcot. They're basically taking World Showcase at the end away, which I'm not the biggest fan of because I loved watching World Showcase when we were exiting. And then you finish in the same location. So food stop, mile marker, all that stuff. So you see all this, the legend, here goes. And the road closures are more. So you're going to be able to see this. So if you have friends and family or you yourself run the half marathon, then you got to leave the next morning. Check this out because this is going to tell you a lot. So don't be mad. So you can plan accordingly. So that way you make sure that you get to the airport on time or to whatever you're going to want to do. So, all right. So that's all 4 runs. So next we're going to go to the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. So this is going to be the celebrated charity. They are sponsoring, so they do this. I'm not going to go again into detail. I have run through the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society before. Great charity. They're all pretty good charities from what I can tell from my experiences running and doing these. So you can read more about the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society there. So Disney Springs, like we saw, they really try to push it. It basically says here, come back at a later date so we can tell you exactly where you can get discounts. And if you're interested, check it out because at least you get some discounts. Upcoming Run Disney events. When I looked at this, I kind of thought to myself, all right, Disneyland and Princess are sold out. So that's why it says learn more instead of register now. So the other 3 still have registrations. So that's why it says register now. If you click on it, it'll take you to the link. So you'll be able to see that. All right, so the last thing is all booths. So Advent Health, which is basically we already saw, they're going to be the ones on the course. They're going to be the first aid stations and so forth. And it says you could win a Run Disney event, race support. So you can look right here, go the distance. The second one is going to be the contest, so you can click on it or you can go there. They have great stickers. They usually give some really cool stickers year after year. I like getting them because I actually pin them wherever I put my medal so I can see them all over the place. So that they're an official provider of Run Disney. And you could do this on any one of these, any one of the booths, so you can see that. So now we can see the rest of the booths there. Dasani, Enterprise, Honey Stinger I like. And as a matter of fact, in the box, the box that they give you at the very end of the run, they do have some Honey Stingers in there. So Shocks, Jeff Galloway, we'll click on him shortly and stuff. But all these they're not huge companies, so they do appreciate you spending some money there. So if you need something, take a look at it there and ask for discounts. You never know. So I click on Jeff because I love Jeff. I think Jeff is awesome. I'll always love going and chit-chatting with him. But you can see about Jeff and all this stuff. He's usually there at the expo. You get to meet him. And then lately he's been one of the last character stops at the runs. And so you get to take a picture with him there. He's awesome to talk to. So now we're going to go back over here. And the Digital Expo, the last one, is exactly what we just looked at. So that was it. So now what I wanted to do, and the reason I did this, is so now you get an idea of where to go. So for example, you're running the 10K and you have some spectators. So now I can click on the 10K and I can go over to the spectator viewing. And now I know where I can tell my family to go. So little by little, costumes, so forth and so on, you're going to be able to identify where you can go. And that's what reasons I do these videos. Do you have any other questions? There's probably some things that I missed, more specific things that I missed. If I can answer them, I'll be more than glad to. But again, I don't work for Run Disney, so I cannot tell you, yeah, for sure you can use that costume, or your person can come exactly here. So, no, that's something that you're going to have to ask Disney themselves. A lot of those questions can be answered at the expo. If you need that answer beforehand, obviously reach out to them as much as you can. They're probably going to be a little bit busy, but they'll give you a generic answer. But again, by the expo, you should be able to get that answer. And I'm just going to turn it over, and thank you for listening. So that was a lot of information, but if you still have any questions, please ask them down below. I would still suggest that you go to that specific location or specific section of wherever you have the question about. Look at it, and if you still have questions about it, please ask down below. Remember, I don't represent Run Disney. I am not part of Run Disney. I've just done this many, many years. I talk to them on a regular basis, so I basically know more or less what they're asking for. General stuff, I know. Specific stuff, I'm gonna basically tell you guys to go and ask Run Disney themselves. And again, at the expo, you're going to be able to get a lot of your questions answered right there. And that comes from Disney. What I don't want to happen is, even if it's not me, if it's somebody else, that you get an answer and then you get there and you go like, well, I thought we could. And you know, if they say you can and then they tell you can't later, that's on them. And so that's something that you know, again, when you get there, you can ask them. But without further ado, I just wanted to thank you guys for your time. Again, I'll be at Disneyland this coming week. So if you guys have any questions about those runs, anything that I can record for next week's video, please ask, comment down below. And without further ado, create a magical day, create a magical run. And guys, see you sooner than later.